Hello, welcome to the second last day of the Season 10 OSC World Championship. I'm Eddie, and with me today is my good friend Steadfast. How you going, mate?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you doing? It's been, it's an early morning here, but I'm excited for some StarCraft.
Yeah, and we have a big day ahead of us. 7 elimination series. It's a pretty brutal grind for the players. It is a bit of a marathon through that lower bracket, and you're always running into a pretty tough opponent, so we're gonna have some good games ahead.
Yeah, it certainly is a bit of a gauntlet here. If either Arrogfire or MeomaikA, who's going to be our first series of the day, if either of them runs the whole gauntlet, they'll be running 5 best of 5s back to back to back to back to back in order to make it through. And that's a lot of video game to play. These guys, obviously, they do practice a lot. They're used to these long days, but the difference between playing practice matches and playing competitive matches is pretty significant.
Yeah, you can always quit a ladder game or rehost a custom, but tournaments, you got to stick it out.
Yep, exactly.
So if we
sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to have a little preview of these 2 players. They've played only twice before in a competitive setting. Once was in a King of the Hill, which was a best of 1, which MeomaikA won, and they played a best of 3 in August, which Arrogfire won. So 2-1 map score in Arrogfire's favour. Both are certainly heading upward to the peak of their powers. MeomaikA, the King of Sea, the Maru killer, we know what he can do against some big names within his own region. But Arrogfire, he's definitely a rising star.
Yeah, I would agree with that on both counts, and I think even to add to that, I would say that MeomaikA's probably most dangerous matchup is ZVP. I think he's probably got the most potential to pull out all the stops in this matchup. I think we could really see some fireworks in this one. Arrogfire he started off as being known as the 3-gate Robo-Man in PvP, and I mean, he still is that. He's still got that in his toolkit, but he's become so much more complete of a player, and I think as soon as he's able to compete in the EPT, I think we're going to be seeing him qualifying pretty much every season. He's become a truly dynamic and strong player, and it's going to be cool to see these 2 players clash.
Yeah, and within MeomaikA's own region, he had to get really good at ZVP because for a while there, the top player was Probe. So you had to regularly face him and defeat him, which is no easy task. Probe is a very good player, and there's some other Protosses such as Pez comes to mind. So yeah, MeomaikA well versed in the matchup.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, to even echo that, I feel like for a long time, maybe Probe would disagree with me, but I feel like probably PVZ was his best matchup. So it even kind of stretches along there, I guess iron sharpening iron, as I like to say. But with that, I think we're getting right on into the first series of the day. This is going to be a good one.
Yes, our first map will be Cosmic Sapphire. And here we go.
I don't think did we get Cosmic Sapphire at all yesterday? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did either in 6 best of 5s.
Yeah, kind of surprising. All right, and here we go. Spawning up in the top left, it is the King of Sea, Hydra Man himself. Give it up for MeomaikA. Founding member, I believe, of the Juggernauts.
I think he was their first pickup, along with some other C players. His opponent from Alpha X, the Blue Protoss, our 15-year-old French man, is Arrogfire.
Is he still only 15? That's wild. Man, so much potential for such a young kid. Reminds me of the, Raynor and Clem back in the day, back when they were on Team Exceed. I know that they've played as a part of some of the. I actually saw the pictures on the OSC website, and that kind of took me back in time a little bit. By the way, we've got something very funky out of MeomaikA. He has gone for he went for I believe this was an 18 hatch, or it was a 17 or an 18 hatch, and now he's going for a hatch block at his opponent's natural. This is a great way to kick off a best of 5. Really makes things weird right out of the gate, and this is already successful for MeomaikA. Oh, Arrogfire, you got to attack that. Oof. Even losing a second or two of DPS means the hatchery gets so much more HP, and it's just that much more to burn through. The fact that MeomaikA gets to have a hatch first behind this, and he forces this much lost mining time, this is extremely successful for MeomaikA already. I've talked to some of the pros, and it's up for debate, but Scarlet has said the best thing to do against this is basically to just ignore it. And you play the 2-gate, you deny the hatchery, eventually you make sure no creep tumor gets down, but you don't want to interrupt your own economy, because the Zerg is going to cancel the hatch anyways, and they're going to get 75% back. They're happy to spend 75 minerals for you to waste a hell of a lot more.
Makes sense.
But as things settle in here, we'll have a couple of depths coming on out. Obviously, MeomaikA would love to keep this drone alive pretty much indefinitely. He may go for a gas deal here, but I'm not sure if you got some available. I assume you probably do. Oh, good job from Arrogfire to prevent the gas deal. Do we have any? I guess fun facts about the players.
Yeah, let's start off with Arrogfire. As we mentioned, he's quite a young man, 15 years of age. This year he had a really good year in the OSC system. He finished rank 18 in the world rankings. He played 62 tournaments, and he won 2 of them, which were a King of the Hill, and at the very start of the year, Alpha X Junior Championship. This is his 3rd World Championship played the last 3 years. And probably, as you'd expect, he's never finished in the top 8 yet. He's a regular in our weekly King of the Hills in the OSC Elite Club. He's played 55 maps, winning 23, a best win streak of 6, and he was king once, as we mentioned. So,
very cool. Yeah, I don't think this is enough lings without speed to deal with this just yet. And if Arrogfire gets the cancel on this hatchery, he is absolutely back in this game, and I would even say he's ahead. And at this point, we're getting into desperation territory. Yeah, now he's let this finish. Oh no! The Zealot might finish this off. Yeah, the Zealot will finish this off, and he's going to be able to grab 2 drones in addition. Adepts, one of them will escape on out. This is an extremely successful little play out of Arrogfire, and he's definitely ahead right now. Wow. MeomaikA didn't build enough lings to prevent this, and he committed to defending the hatchery. He could have canceled that right away and taken the vertical 3rd at the 9 o'clock position. Ooh, this is a little scary for Arrogfire. I was just going to say the Adept can actually change size right there. Then it does. That lets these lings into the natural expansion. Oh, Arrogfire able to keep the majority of them alive. Does still lose a couple probes, but could have been a lot worse. MeomaikA building more lings right now. Oh, he really wants to kill that Adept at the 3rd base. Second Oracle is not yet out, and actually we're going to see 3 more probes going down on the main base. Oof. And the Adept does end up getting killed off by the Zergling. Zergling's got 2 kills before it is promptly executed for its crimes by the Adept. This is, oh my goodness, the Oracle using its energy right there. That is actually so bad for Arrogfire, because there's more lings coming across the map. MeomaikA, how many Adepts are there? Okay, no, there should be enough Adepts to deal with this. Oh, good positioning right there on that Adept. Yeah, if MeomaikA really slammed the pedal to the floor, yeah, he probably wouldn't be able to get anything done anyways. That's too many adepts. But a very chaotic little situation. It makes sense for him to try and put on some ling pressure because he didn't have this third base to mine from anyways. And it's not like he's on 4 gases, so he would have been, he would have been inefficiently mining with his drones. But now we're going to see Arrogfire coming across the map with these oracles, going to try and find some counter damage. And there is a spore, but the queens are not in position at the natural. One of them just popped out. Arrogfire, though, playing very conservatively with this. +1 melee behind this, and we're still waiting to see what Arrogfire's tech is going to be as a follow-up. Now, I'm sure you've seen... Oh, hang on. There's no shield battery here. Oh, this could be bad. Well, hang on. Actually, I don't think this is... Is it enough lings? There's no shield battery here. They do get a full wraparound, and there's no force field. Actually, yeah, with no... Wow, this went way better for MeomaikA than I expected. The oracles were not here to defend, and the units moved away from the shield batteries. That ends up being a very good trade for MeomaikA. And behind this, we are seeing the robotics bay. Oh, started up a Phoenix, but decides to go into an Oracle instead. And MeomaikA, well, it's going to be Hydras. Of course it is. Oh, oh my goodness, this is very scary as well. Where are the Oracles? They're not really in position. +1 melee is about to complete. This is getting super out of hand here. Actually, this might just kill the third base. Looks like he's gonna back off, but with oh no, Arrogfire getting caught out of position again. But MeomaikA not jumping on these units. Okay, now he does. But one of the oracles is active. Oh, he can get into the main. Oh, this is brutal for Arrogfire. He's having so much trouble dealing with these lings. MeomaikA gonna really feast on these probes here. 6, 8, probably 10 probes maybe gonna fall. 8 probes so far. And now he floods in on top of the third base. Shield battery has not been rebuilt. Just a little too late to save that one adept. And battery overcharge gets popped, but MeomaikA should just click the shield battery. There he goes. And the oracles are out of juice. Well, this game has gone from being salvageable to kind of being out of reach a little bit here. And MeomaikA is committing to Hydras behind this. He should stop attacking right here, just kill the third, or at least go after the third. And yeah, with the pylon going down, there's going to be no way to warp in units at this base. This warp in round is useful, but it's not going to be enough to stem the tide, really. Now, funnily enough, the adepts actually will be quite good against these Hydras. And the one Colossus that just popped out, this might be enough for Arrogfire to hold here. He has lost 2 of his oracles, though, and this is a lot of +1 Hydras and lings. Both of them have their upgrades. And now with the third base of Arrogfire going down, MeomaikA going to drone up a little bit. Gets an infestation pit, gets both his +2 attack upgrades. Yeah, this is achieved what it needed to. Oh, MeomaikA with a terrible Overlord rally, though. Oh boy, this is going to supply block him brutally. And that might give Arrogfire a bit of breathing room. MeomaikA is rebuilding 5 Overlords at a time, but actually with this last Overlord going down, that's not even going to be enough for him. Like, he'll need like 2 more Overlords to get back to normal production when that finishes up. But there's no upgrades, no forge for Arrogfire, and MeomaikA's starting his hive. This is... Supply blocks are a nuisance, they're a problem, and he still hasn't built more Overlords, but Arrogfire took crippling damage there.
Yeah, and the main base starts to mine out pretty quick, right? So that's why you need to get those fast thirds to keep powering your economy and build up those heavy tech units that the Protoss army composition requires to fight.
Yeah, in a normal game, you'd be taking maybe a 5th base by now. And obviously, there's been a lot of aggression. We had the hatch at the natural. Things got kind of off kilter right from the beginning. But I mean, this is a situation where, like, even in this game state, he needs to at least be on, like he needs to be taking a 4th base, if not fully saturating it right now, you know? against what MeomaikA has. MeomaikA's got a gold base up and running. Only 8 drones, so not as effective as it could be, but still, you know, puts a lot of pressure on Arrogfire. And we're sometimes critical of MeomaikA for his lack of creep, especially when he plays ZVT and he goes like mass 1-1 mutas. But in this game, his creep is looking phenomenal. It's covering so much of the map. There's very little area where Arrogfire can pick a fight where there won't be a ton of creep. Man, another Overlord goes down. That's MeomaikA's got to work on his rallies, as that, you know, that's a bit of an oopsie. But overall, he's playing an excellent game. And Arrogfire, I really don't know what he can do. We've already got one Viper. Oh, looks like Arrogfire killing a couple of his own probes there in order to squeeze out a disruptor. So I actually like little decisions like that. I think those are very smart, especially in the context of the game. But like, I mean, you just got to look at the upgrades to get an idea of what's going on in this game. +1 weapons is what, third of the way done for Arrogfire, and MeomaikA is on 2-2-1 as of just now, and he's got +3 melee on the way. Like, there's just not a whole lot you can do. Now, Arrogfire, he does have what he needs to hold. And MeomaikA is a player that is very aggressive. You know, like, you can kind of rely on him to be aggressive into you. Oh, that's a lot of Lings running into 3 Colossus. Abduct does come in and grabs one of the Colossus. Second Abduct as well. Doesn't get it far enough forward. Oh, Disruptor does get a good connection on the Hydra. Second Colossus does fall, but the second Disruptor shot doesn't land. And even with that being an expensive engagement for MeomaikA, it's still a successful one because he kills all the Protoss power units, and he still has Hydras left over. Remaxing on 70 Lings, 20 Hydras. Doesn't matter that the Hydras don't have the range. I mean, this is still just too much for Arrogfire to come back from. I was just gonna say Arrogfire setting himself up to be in a good turtling position, but MeomaikA just has way too much. And Arrogfire kind of fighting away from his shield batteries. Not that he has a lot anyways, but MeomaikA, he'll close out game number 1 in style with the Hydraling. A couple of cheeky abducts to take that one down. Good job.
Yeah, really well played. The creep spread by the end was basically at Arrogfire's third, so easy to reinforce and battle on creep.
Yeah, exactly. It's very handy. Even if you don't get like just having your reinforcements show up. Actually, I'm really curious on a map like Cosmic Sapphire, from main base to third, if you have creep all the way, how much time do you save on reinforcements? It's gotta be like 5 to 8 seconds. It's gotta be quite significant.
Yeah, definitely a highway.
Yeah. So it's pretty neat.
I think where it all sort of fell apart was that early game where the units just got caught between the bases too easy, baited by MeomaikA. He was able to keep them off and trap them.
Lost a sentry, lost like 2 or 3 zealots, and then like 4 or 5 adepts. And that was right when I was saying like, oh, like MeomaikA's not going to be able to find any more damage. There's 5 adepts out here. Like there's just no way to find damage. But that's the thing about MeomaikA. He'll hit you at weird timings that you're just not expecting and not even remotely prepared for. And it can be very effective.
Yeah, and also that pressure baited out the or drained the Oracle energy, right? So it couldn't be used defensively or Revelations or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's there was a few times. There was one particular time where Arrogfire used one of his oracles to clean up 2 Zerglings in the main. One of which was I think it was 3 adept hits would have cleared up the 2 Zerglings, and we don't often see it because we're so used to the players the absolute top level being very conservative and proper with their oracle energy usage. But when they aren't, and Zerg players know how to abuse that and take advantage of it, that's when you find some really interesting situations. And MeomaikA, I mean, he wins game number 1 in about the most MeomaikA way you can. And we'll have to see if Arrogfire can kind of ratchet things up. I'm curious. Oh, pardon me. Don't you just hate when you choke on air? I'm curious as to how much and how used to playing on ping Arrogfire is, because MeomaikA plays a lot of NA ladder, and he is from Southeast Asia, so he's used to high ping, and he probably knows how to take advantage of high ping a little bit more. Arrogfire, a lot of the European players, they do not play cross server. They like barely ever play cross server. So they're all, and the thing is too, there's only one server on EU. One server, so you're almost always getting the same consistent setup. So it's a little bit like, I feel like it'd be the equivalent of, like a hiker, or maybe like an athlete, like an elite athlete, having to suddenly compete at 20,000 feet of altitude. Like your body's just not prepared for it. And in this case, your brain is not prepared for it. So we'll have to see if Arrogfire can make some adjustments and maybe deal with that a little bit. And we've got spawning down in the bottom left, the King of Sea from the Juggernauts. It is MeomaikA.
And in the top right is our young French Protoss from Alpha X, Arrogfire.
And we've got something already very interesting coming out of MeomaikA here. So he has gone for a 14 pool, and he has done... Oh God, I hate this. Okay, you see how the drones are doing this weird, like, they're just taking a long route?
Yes.
So on some maps, I don't know what causes it, but on some maps, when you place buildings, specifically Zerg buildings, next to your hatchery in a specific place, it causes the drones to just be idiots. I don't know why, but they just imagine there's something in the way. Now this is rather interesting because Arrogfire, okay, he does go Cybercore first. He's going to need to chrono boost out a Zealot, most likely, at the very least build one, because these 6-lings are going to come on down. A 14 pool is such a weird off timing. Okay, there we go. Yep, okay, perfect. Zealot chrono boost comes on down. Is going to be a 2-gate play, so this is going to get the same response as though it was a 12 pool, but it's going to be off of a much better economy from MeomaikA, and it's just going to be 6 Zerglings. This is a successful opener once again from MeomaikA, and he's doing it. He's pulling off his witchcraft. He's already got a small advantage in this game number 2, and actually Arrogfire is even building a second Zealot. If he lets this finish, this is actually and a second chrono boost. Oh my goodness, this is an amazing start for MeomaikA. I really can't understate how good this is. The only thing is that Arrogfire was able to force this base to be built at the 3rd. If MeomaikA took his natural, this would be even better.
Sort of goes back to what you were saying about playing outside of your comfort zone. That's, you're mentioning just the actual server itself, but the builds and the way MeomaikA is mixing up the early game, it's putting Arrogfire on the back foot.
Yeah, and this looks very promising right here. Oh, MeomaikA, he's waiting for the Adept Shade. He wants to get in here. The probe is in position for Arrogfire, but if MeomaikA is prepared... Oh, Arrogfire, very nice. Okay, that probe was in position, and he gets the wall off. Now, does this force Arrogfire back? It shouldn't, but hang on, does he have a chrono boost? He just now has one. Oh, this is going to be really critical. Okay, on the other side of the map, we do see the Adepts and the Zealots moving forward. They move into some Zerglings, both Zealots going down. They do take down a lot of the Zerglings. Gateway will go down. Oh, the Adept. MeomaikA almost getting us around, but he is going to get into the main base. And that's going to force a recall on the other 2 Adepts. This is so good. Oh my god, and he gets 2 probes. This is unbelievably good. Full scout as well. And now we see a Baneling Nest coming on down. After the recall, this is such a great follow-up. This is man, I'm loving how MeomaikA is approaching this. And there's now a pylon in the wall. He knows this. He knows he's killed one of the gateways. I don't know how Arrogfire is going to hold this. I actually have no idea. This is just a 2-base Baneling all in now. Such a great decision. Arrogfire is getting up into Resonating Glaives, but man, I really can't overstate how like brutal this looks. And if these Adepts are all stacked up as the Banelings come on in, there's gonna be like nothing that can be done just about. No shield battery at the front. The one of the gate. Actually, hang on. This is all of his production is at the front right now. There's a second gateway and a third gateway coming on up. But these Adepts, they're gonna get blown to hell, and that's actually that's just gonna be game number 2. There's nothing that can be done really at this point. MeomaikA he's not microing this as well as I'd like to see, but he's still gonna kill. Well, he's still gonna kill everything. Yeah, there's no chance. Once your wall is breached like this, he's got 1 gateway, and actually that doesn't matter. He's on 9 supply. MeomaikA getting right in his opponent's head and right in his opponent's face. That is, damn, that is some good stuff out of MeomaikA.
Yeah, very good. Probably seemed like he had a plan there. You know, you go for the links, you bait out the units, you destroy the wall, you just overwhelm.
Yeah, everything about that was such a MeomaikA game. From the weird Overlord 14 pool, which looks like a 12 pool, and bamboozled Arrogfire into thinking it was a 12 pool, into the Lings counterattacking, killing one of the gateways, which then forces the recall, and then he goes for the big Ling bait all in. Like, it just boom, 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 and just fantastic stuff.
Yeah, I think Sando in the chat has written a poem about him, The Feats of MeomaikA.
Feats of MeomaikA. I like it. It's that sounds like a very intriguing poem, to say the least.
Yeah, and another comment we had in the chat earlier was by Muppet, who pointed out that Arrogfire was a GM from 13 years of age. Very impressive. Obviously, that's still got to translate into tournament experience, which is the step above ladder.
Yeah, it's I mean the age exactly, and we're I'm like heaping praise onto Arrogfire as, you know, being so young, but really to echo that point, having a lack of experience, even if you have been playing for 4 or 5 years, because he's so young, he hasn't been able to compete in a lot of the events for EPT. Like you can't. I think you can't compete until you're 16, I believe, just because of how the labor laws work in EU, which is a good thing, generally speaking. But it's also not an enjoyable. Like, there's only so much you can get from ladder, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, not just like LAN events as well. He's obviously a young man, he's in school, he can't be up so late, can't play during the day, things like this.
Yeah, which really drives the point home of how impressive it is that he has risen so far and so fast. And, well, let's get into it here. This could be the final game of the series. If it is, it would probably be the quickest series we've had so far in these last 2 days. And MeomaikA says, I want it to be the final game of the series. He's going for it. Spawning up at the top right, it is MeomaikA coming in with a cheeky 12 pool.
And his opponent, who's going to need to scout and react pretty quickly, is our young French Protoss from Alpha X, Arrogfire.
And this is pretty cool out of MeomaikA. So the only thing I would have liked to make this even better is for him to send a drone down to make it look like he is taking the hatch at the normal timing. So what you can do is you can send the drone down, and it'll look like the normal timing. They won't follow you to the third, because if they do that and it is a normal hatch timing, you can just send another drone down to the natural. So they're going to stay at the natural expansion, and they're going to be fooled that it's not a 12 pool for a little bit longer. And then there's a few things you can do with that drone. You can send it all the way across the map and actually, you know, try and wall against your opponent's setup. Or you can hide it and then actually take your third or your natural expansion, you know, away from the probe basically as they go up into your main. There's a lot of things you can do. It costs you a little bit of mining time, but I think in terms of the mine games, it's pretty worthwhile. Now, Arrogfire does lose the probe. Not a huge deal, but that means that MeomaikA just needs to get just a little bit less damage to do anything with this. And in fact, he's only going for 6 lanes, so he doesn't really need much damage at all, actually. Arrogfire will be going for the double zealot once again. And this wall is not exactly what I would say call comfy. Oh, gotta be careful here with the zealot. MeomaikA really trying to squeeze in here if he can, but yeah, no, Arrogfire is going to be fine. And it will, of course, be the 2 Zealot, 2 Adept setup. This is the same thing we saw in the previous game, but, you know, in the previous game, it was against a higher eco setup from MeomaikA. MeomaikA, even with a 12 pool, he just marches to the beat of his own drum, building just the 6 lings. God, I really can't say how much of a... I can't say enough how much of a fan I am of how MeomaikA approaches the game. It's so cerebral and outside the box.
Difference this game is he was able to secure his natural, so it's a little bit easier to defend from this follow-up little push.
Yeah, that is a really great point, and especially the fact that he's got the ramp to do so as well. We are going to see the Queens very well set up. This 1 Zealot getting extremely low on HP, but it will survive. Adept Shades are going to cancel here. MeomaikA with some good micro on the Queens, but he's got to pull that one back. Oh, just barely going to keep it alive. Gets both Zealots. Got to be careful with this 1 Queen here as well. She's actually getting extremely low. She is going to go down. Hang on. No, she's not. We're going to see the Shade forward into the main. Couple of drones going to go down. This is a much more successful counterattack here from Arrogfire. Okay, we'll lose all the Adepts, but 5 drones going down right there. That is great for Arrogfire. That is actually quite significant in terms of the counterattack damage. Now, what are we going to see as a follow-up from MeomaikA? He does have a lot of gas in the bank, and I wouldn't be too surprised if he goes for like a big Hydra-based all-in here. But on the other side of the map, Arrogfire, he's gone for a quick Twilight Council and now a Robo. Is it going to be Resonating Glaives? Is it going to be DTs? What's it going to be? Okay, we got another gateway here, but still no tech coming down just yet out of the Twilight Council. Oh, Overlord. Oh, almost going down there. Okay, there we go. It is Resonating Glaives. Arrogfire, he really wants to snipe this Ovi, and he will get it. Oh, but he's going to lose the Stalker for it. Oh, trying to get it into the corner so the Adepts can save it, but no, there's nothing to be done here. Now, MeomaikA, he's going to see 2 more Adepts warping on in, and that should give him a bit of a tell on what's coming. He doesn't have a Roach Warren just yet. So hang on, if he's... Okay, there we go. Starts it up. I was going to say, if he skips Roach Warren, he will just die to these Resonating Glaives. Like, there's no doubt about it. But it's not going to be that straight Glaives. Or sorry, it's not going to be the straight Hydras that we see so often from MeomaikA. He will cross his T's and dot his I's, but I mean, this timing from Arrogfire is going to hit pretty quickly. Like it's moving out right now. Glaives is done in, you know, 20, 30 seconds. The Roaches aren't going to be out right away. This looks very scary right here for MeomaikA. Now, Lings do spot this, and they'll see the War Prism here. 9 Roaches starting on up. Oh, pardon me. There is going to be a bit of a timing before the Roaches are out, but actually, no, it should be... They should be getting out basically as the first Shade is coming on in. Yeah, so it looks like MeomaikA just barely got that Roach Warren out in time. Arrogfire is getting a 3rd gas behind his back at home, and he's got another probe in production. Okay, there we go. Back into probe production a little bit. Kind of, I guess, making his decisions based on how much he sees as a response. The thing is, this is a different setup from MeomaikA from the normal response. He's already got a layer done, and he's got Roach Speed about halfway done as well. So this is a this is a better position than the normal defense. Even though they're on the same worker count as you'd usually be, anywhere from like 37, 38 to, you know, 41. As a defensive Zerg player against this, having that extra tech and the fact that he's been able to do that is quite massive. And we also see a lot of creep spread on the map. Now, we are going to see the Adepts shading on home. Just a little harassment coming in from this War Prism. 4 Adepts in a War Prism. Well, he actually loses one of the Adepts right there. Gets a couple drones, but I don't even know if that's worth it. And the fact that MeomaikA's gotten as much creep spread as he has, yeah, I think I like MeomaikA's position a little bit better here. Now, he does get supply blocked at 106. That's pretty brutal. And Arrogfire is getting into a robotics bay. Not sure if it's going to be disruptors or, well, it should be disruptors based on the number of roaches he's seen. Disruptors much better than Colossus in this situation. Oh, MeomaikA does get to see that there's an observer kind of tracking him. And there's only one one immortal here. There is a War Prism. Arrogfire is going to have some great micro to keep, to kind of stay alive here. The Adepts, they're not really going to cut it here. They just don't trade as effectively as the Roaches. Immortal will get saved for the moment, and this is actually looking so dangerous. MeomaikA, he finds some really good trades before the shield battery is done. It kills a lot of the Adepts. Immortal will be kept alive for the moment, but MeomaikA is continuing to rally on in. First Disruptor is on the field, but it is too late to stop the army from really taking some great trades. Oh, but that Disruptor shot, oh, it's a good one. 5 kills right there, and that might be enough for Arrogfire to stabilize, but it is very close. Battery overcharge instantly getting popped, will save both the Disruptor and the Immortal. MeomaikA, though, is going to target it down, and this third base is still in huge jeopardy. Second Disruptor is joining on up, but if MeomaikA just clicks down the third, he is going to kill it almost certainly. And he sees the second Disruptor. Yeah, MeomaikA just needs to, oh, well, avoid a shot like this. Okay, there's one big shot. Second shot is pretty huge as well. Still, MeomaikA is very far ahead. Oh, and the Immortal, oh, it just barely goes down. No space in the War Prism. Not quite enough energy on that shield battery to save it. Disruptors are about to come off cooldown, but so many probes are going to fall before they can do what they need to do. One Disruptor shot, pretty decent. MeomaikA, oh, there we go. A good split coming on in from the Zerg player. Oh, not able to save that Disruptor. Wow, this one gets a few more roaches, and MeomaikA's losing a lot, but look at what we've got in the main base. Arrogfire, oh, it's just out of vision. I mean, he's in a terrible position already, but this is going to be even more damage. Actually, why are the queens in here? What are they even going to do? I mean, I guess, well, they'll distract. If they can bait out some Disruptor shots, that's amazing. And, well, actually baiting out those 2 Disruptor shots may just ice out the game. Battery overcharge, actually, it's going to hold the line against these Lings for now. Arrogfire is holding, and MeomaikA, there's really no need for him to close the game out right now. He's taking a 4th base. It's finished. He's finished his 4th base, and his opponent is on 2 bases and just 38 probes. Oh, but hang on. We've actually got another Nidus Worm in the back. I didn't even notice this. MeomaikA, he's getting into a Spire. That's really cute, by the way. This is actually such a frustrating thing to deal with. You fire the Disruptor shots out, and you're like, it's queens, it's easy targets, and then the queens are just like, yeah, and they just jump back into the Nidus like a bunch of absolute jerks. Yeah, man. This series has gone so brutally for Arrogfire and just so well for MeomaikA. He has really pulled out all the stops here. And this Spire should absolutely close out the game. There's probably not even going to be enough anti-air for the first wave of mutas.
Yeah, only 5 Stalkers on the field at the moment for Arrogfire. I particularly liked that very first engagement when MeomaikA was attacking the third. It was a bit like sort of like a cavalry charge. He led with the Roaches into the Adepts and then came around with the Lings. It was very well played.
Yeah, exactly. That way the Lings weren't just getting shredded by the front line of Adepts. The Roaches cracking the front line a little bit, and then the Lings come in to reinforce. Just a great play overall. And this is almost more demoralizing for Arrogfire, the fact that he has gotten to a decent army, because he's gonna be like, wow, I've gotten some decent disruptor shots, I've killed a good number of Lings, like maybe I can hold, and then the Mutas are gonna show up, and Mutaling is just gonna eat this army alive. Like it's not even gonna be close. And there's that disruptor shot coming on in. It actually kills a couple of Adepts as well as the Lings. And like I said, this army, it's just gonna get swallowed up. Now oh, he doesn't even get the Queens all there. And MeomaikA does what MeomaikA does best. And just swarms on in with unexpected attacks. It's almost like watching a drunken master, just very cool.
Yes, very well played by the King of Sea, showing his ZVP top level. It's a shame we didn't really get to see Arrogfire get into his own game.
Yeah, it actually makes me very sad. Like it's so cool to see MeomaikA pulling that off, because no one plays like that. Like no one. He is the only player in the world that plays like that at this level. So it's very cool to see him do that. But Arrogfire is like such a promising young talent that, you hate to see him go out like this. It would have been very cool to see him continue to progress, but regardless, they would have had a pretty tough time in this bracket anyways, because the player that MeomaikA now gets to go up against is Showtime. And I believe Showtime had an extremely strong run in the OSC Championship number 9, I think. Is that correct?
He has the last 2 years. He's finished 3rd and 2nd.
Yes, yeah. So he finished 3rd, getting narrowly edged out by Beyond, 3-2, who then fell to Zest in the finals. And then the year before that, he got to the finals and fell to Clem 4-1. So both of those times having a hell of a lower bracket run. And I mean, I'm sure he's looking to continue that success once again, but he's got some formidable opponents in his way. And he's going to have to start things off with, MeomaikA to start that run going. He's already 3-0'd Pappy, but it's going to be pretty nifty to see.
Yeah, all right. So we'll take a really quick break and set up that series and be right back.